Hey friends, I have another blah. I literally just had like 10 words try to force their way out of my mouth at once. This is how you know I have bitten off more than I can chew. And that is why today I am bringing you a portfolio review by Christina Volchek. She's another senior product designer, and I'm really excited because I think she's got a very different perspective than me. Oh my God, should I start this recording over? Nope, we're doing it. We're doing it live. Um, not live. I'm excited to bring you this portfolio review. I will be back to creating my regularly scheduled, okay, it's Wednesdays. I will be doing portfolio reviews once again in the new year. But for now, I am still excited to bring you different voices, different perspectives from people because, my relentless positivity is not everybody's cup of tea. So we're going to check this out and enjoy. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Hey everyone, my name is Christina and I'm here to help Megan with portfolio reviews today. A bit about me, I'm senior growth designer and product design mentor with background in digital marketing. Starting this year, I am freelancing, but before that I was working as a senior product designer at various startups and I was teaching at Dribble. I'm currently teaching at Growth Design School and Lifties. So I hope it gives me enough authority to review this portfolio. And today we have Andrew Giese. I hope I pronounced it correctly, sorry. And it's quite a minimalistic portfolio, which I personally really love. I prefer minimalistic and clean portfolios because they are often more focused on your work and they create a nicer, softer background for featuring what you did with your designs. So let's start. And we immediately see the hero section here where Andrew is introducing himself as creative designer on a mission to elevate his ideas into unforgettable experiences. Unfortunately, it's a bit too generic. This title doesn't help you to stand out. Whenever you think about your hero section, it's the most important section. It's the first impression, the first thing people will read about you when they land on your website. And you're just giving something generic. You're not bringing your personality. You don't sound authentic with this type generic titles. And also they don't help me to understand if you're a good fit for a role I'm trying to fill as a recruiter, for example. So I would definitely focus on something more personal, something more helpful to feature your unique skill set. And also when it comes to minimalistic portfolios, they sometimes lack personal branding. Here Andrew have a very cute logo, but other than that there is nothing to make you feel that this is a unique portfolio. This is someone's personal brand. So there is no visual support of like adding your image, because at the personal website your image is your brand. So basically your photo is you are the brand. So here adding a bit of personality would be really nice. And when I was trying to find what could be this amazing blend or the strengths to feature in your hero section, I went to about page and I immediately discovered a very interesting background. So Andrew's background started in music, where he discovered the power of storytelling through sound. Such a powerful message, such an interesting idea, because it naturally led him to visual design. So this blend of sound design and visual design, and also all the more physical design work he was doing, is definitely way more powerful message to have in your hero section than just like a generic unforgettable experiences. Also, when you think about your hero section, imagine the business looking for a designer. are they really interested in unforgettable experiences, or they just want to kind of like have more money as a business? So whenever you trying to address business needs in your hero section, think about like what value I can bring, or what is my unique skill, what is my unique blend, how can I stand out immediately. So it's either a promise for business values or your unique blend of skills or your background or your passion that makes you to stand out. Also really love that you included social links, immediately visible, immediately accessible. Any recruiter will go and check your socials. It's part of your portfolio in the modern market, unfortunately, but it's good to have them immediately accessible. And then let's go further. We have, I hope it's recent work or featured work or something. So some kind of work. It would be good to have some kind of titles that will explain me if it's your recent work or your recent projects or your passion projects or what's going on here. Because the thumbnail and the project description not very clear, it doesn't give me immediate understanding that it's rebrand project, or that you did some branding work here. And for someone who doesn't know this company, their name doesn't give me any understanding what did you do here, what the project is about, is it rebrand, redesign, or any context of what kind of services or skills were performed here. In general, it's really good to have some kind of labels or tags on your case studies for visual scannability, so recruiters can quickly understand, okay, that was UX design case study, brand design case study, or it was anything else, research, UI, just experiments or anything like that. And then add in a bit of description, so I don't need to go inside of case study. I can immediately understand a snapshot or a summary what I will learn here if I will go inside. Would be really helpful, because your homepage is just like kind of a selection of your work, and a good hook to make me want to go inside and read your case study is something that helps a lot to motivate people to actually read your case studies. So definitely something to consider. And yeah, the same here. It's like not enough information, and it's not very clear what type of case study of work or services you provided here. I really love that you included social proof. It's a good thing to do on your website in general. Sometimes it's a bit lengthy to read. So for example, I can't imagine at this stage people, when they're just scanning quickly your website, trying to understand if you are good to continue with the interview process, to read this entire review. So probably worth to choose the most interesting part of each testimonial and just featured a shortened version, because it would be more powerful. People will actually read an interesting element about you. Why should you hire? So yeah, but overall, really great idea on including those. So, and let's roll back to the top. Before I will dive into case studies, let's go to about page again, because I think this is also a very important page. So here you did a really great job on explaining your background, your personal story. I immediately felt connected. I immediately felt a very interesting blend of kind of like sound design and visual design mixing together. And then this powerful story is kind of getting wasted on something very generic. So basically, featuring core skills and giving more details about skills like user research, usability testing, prototyping, and wireframing. doesn't really make sense because people who are looking for a designer know what those skills mean, so they don't need an additional explanation on how you perform in those skills. I think you can just list those skills in a similar way you did here with tools and models and business solutions. So it's kind of like not worth even listing them here and distracting from such a powerful story of your background. So basically, I would say in this second section, you have a chance to explain how you kind of see this connection. How do you see this connection between music and visual design? Because it's way more powerful ideas than just featuring, I don't know, UX design certificate at General Assembly. So, because from hiring manager perspective, imagine there was like tens, 20s, hundreds of other students from General Assembly, and they all did the same program. They all have the same knowledge, as they learned the same methodologies. So I don't think it's worth even focusing on what you learn here versus how you understand it, how you apply it, how you actually think about those learnings, and how would you approach your design. So I would say this section could be much more powerful, focusing on your unique skills, not just generic core skills that it is just like could be listed as a simple list. So yeah, and then I kind of get confused at the end of the page. I'm looking at my notes, by the way, because I'm a golden fish. And then there was suddenly buy me coffee, and I was like, oh, probably you are doing something like, I don't know, you're publishing your music or something like that, but looks like it's quite empty. There's nothing been there. So I'm not sure if it makes sense to include buy me coffee on your about page. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's also a bit confusing. Then contact page, nothing really to comment on. I love the photo, by the way. I think like a good natural photo is nicer than just like, you know, some generic office photos. So really nice job here. And then your resume is just a PDF attached here. I won't comment on resume. It's just like, it's a good practice to have your resume attached in the top navigation if you're looking for a full-time job. Let's go back to your case studies. Let's start with this one first. Oh, let me find my notes. So here I tried. So first time when I open someone's case study, and I'm pretty sure every recruiter or hiring manager does the same, they quickly scroll through it, trying to understand the structure, the heading and everything. And this case study has only one heading, initial brainstorming, and then there's nothing really happening, a bunch of images. So I was a bit confused. I was like, what's going on? I should dive in trying to understand. So, and here is a paragraph of text explaining what you've been doing here and so on. I think like that's not the best way to present this information because it's very small text. It's not attractive on this page. So basically, if you will do something like a standard grid of 4 columns saying like my role as a team, duration, and like services or like skills that happen here, it would be way more helpful, and it will immediately communicate me what's going on with this case study. And then you don't give any background about the company, why they reached out to you, why they decided to do this project with you, what was their goal, like why you picked some designs, how it all started, why you decide how the final direction aligns with the initial goal and things like that. So basically, this case study doesn't have any good story explaining me the visuals here. So the storytelling is definitely lacking here. And yeah, your thinking, your process, how you approached it, how it aligns with the goal, how it was received by users, it's not there. So probably let's go and look at the other case study. It may be that example. So let's go to notification manager. So again, this thumbnail, this banner, it doesn't help. So it doesn't, no, it's not like it's not helping. It doesn't add any value to your case study here. It's not clear what's going on in the background. It's not clear what type of design you did. It's not clear if there was before and after, any improvements, anything. So this background image doesn't add any value here. If you want to make your first image, like background image or thumbnail image, valuable, make sure you feature something that is visually attractive, that makes me want to read how you achieved it, how you did this, your final result, or comparison before after is also a good way to feature your progress and make me want to read the entire case study. Then there is again a lot of text without any kind of like scannable elements. So I think like this one is something that you can move a bit up, so it will immediately introduce me about your role, tools used, team, and probably on top of tools you can add skills like you did, I don't know, web design analysis, competitor analysis, anything like that, that can just like give those keywords to a recruiter understand like, oh, this case study covers ABC. So this is a lot of text, and I don't think like people will scan it immediately. So there's an overview, at least we have a background, what company does. No, it doesn't give me any background what company does. So the overview, the overview is a section where you quickly introduce what company does. So basically, if we're talking about NPView, you need to explain me what they do. Why do they need the notification manager? Like, what's going on? What do they do? In a very easy way for me to understand what company does. So the company industry, the company type, the company structure gives an understanding what type of team you're already collaborating with, and you worked with those industries and so on. So basically, company overview is quite important because it gives a quick summary of what type of company you worked with. And then the goal is a bit generic here. So basically, making intuitive, seamless, aligned with user workflows. We prioritize simplicity. There is no kind of actionable goal that you're trying to achieve, like making something more user-friendly or I don't know, more attractive is not really a goal. Goal is something that aligns with overall problems you're trying to solve. So you have a problem, the current notification manager, for example, is not accessible. So your goal is to make it accessible for all users. Or I don't know, we need to dive into what the problems were here. But yeah, basically problems should be very specific and goal should be aligned with the problem, and it can't be just very generic of like making things better. So hopefully it makes sense. And then we dive into problems. and it's not clear how you discovered those problems. Did you do some kind of analysis yourself? Is it something that support team reporting? Did you do some competitor analysis to understand like something is not working here? So there is no background on like how you discovered those problems, where are your insights coming from, except some guesses that you had back then. And then we have some explanation on security constraints. So basically you can't have direct access to user to evaluate your ideas and design decisions. So basically, and then so we don't have access to users. Okay, it's good. It's always a great idea to feature your constraints, because then it's not your weak point in case study. Then you won't be afraid if, for example, during the interview process, someone will go and like, oh, where is your user interviews in this case study? And you're like, oh, I know, I wrote it. I didn't have access to user interviews. And then it's not something you would be afraid, and it's not something will freeze you during the interview, and you won't know how to answer this question. So it's really good practice. Great job here. But then I'm a bit confused how we're jumping into those solutions. I'm trying to understand what was your thinking behind these solutions. How did you come up with them? Was it like work with support team? I don't know, ideation with your manager? So how those like solutions emerged here? And also, I think like it's a missed opportunity to introduce some kind of competitor research where you can kind of like see what competitors do, what we are doing wrong, what features missing, and so on. So basically, if you're lacking access to users, you at least can have access to competitors and compare them with your product. So, and then we have, for some reason, we are starting with UI update because we are unsure about design direction needed. It doesn't really make sense to start with UI update if there is no clear direction on how we should approach the overall design. So I'm a bit confused about description, because you started with UI, then you had to talk with your PM, and you had the freedom to innovate without user verification. So it's a bit confusing story here. I think like probably it would make sense to reframe the story from a different perspective, focusing on something like why there were so many uncertainties, who was leading the project, like for example, seems like you had discussions with your PM, so was PM leading the project and so on. So basically it doesn't make sense to be the specialist since you called yourself lead UX designer on this project, and then it's kind of like you're not leading it in a way. And then we have a lot of screens. I would say whenever you showing any design in progress or any screens, try to add some UI work to it. So just dropping screenshots is not really good practice in general. So basically, whenever you're trying to present UI, just make sure you're adding a bit of visual niceness to it. There are tons of templates on Figma community for like dribble shots and everything like that. Even if you will Google like Figma dribble shot templates, I think like, yeah, I had some saved. And you see there's like so many screens available. You can just There are tons of templates like that. You can just like drop your screens. Those are for mobile only, but again, you can go to any desktop versions of that, and any screenshots, just like adding a nicer touch to designs presented, to show that you have UI skills is important, because that's how we evaluate other designers. It's not only about the final work, it's also about how do you frame your final work, how do you package your case study. And when it comes to hiring, packaging is way more important than the actual product, because sometimes you can work on just like not very or more like a product with a strict design system that is not very appealing or very simple and so on. So basically your best solution is to package those designs nicer, and basically that's how you sell yourself, because it's not always about the type of design work you have on your portfolio. It's also about how do you package yourself, your work, your case studies, even every single screenshot on your case study. For example, when I'll go to my portfolio, sorry about that. When I even add any kind of screenshots or anything from my portfolio, I would also kind of have some form of layout, something that like explains what's going on. So for example, this is my cruise design process. I have a screenshot of social proof, me talking to users, some cute icons. Again, I'm not just dropping screenshots of something work in progress. Even for Miro screenshots here, again, I'm designing screenshots to fit into my website style. But for your website style, you can use different styles, so don't follow me blindly. But again, it should be designed. Any screenshots on your website should be designed. And then we have here, so this is connected to this image, for example, and then we have this table without much explanation what's happening. And then, okay, so it's an interaction. So again, please guys, add titles to your case studies. Titles is part of separation. I will bring back my case study. So testing, high fidelity designs, brainstorming, tailored design process for growth. Again, so basically whenever you using titles, it creates separation between sections, and it clearly helps navigating your case study. So please use titles in your case studies that are very clear, simple, and communicate what's going on in the entire section. So this is dashboard idea, one of the interactions you had with this dashboard. And then, yeah, so basically the evaluation of your design happened by your product manager. So you decided together that it was overwhelming. I'm not sure if you were gathering like entire team insights or feedback, if there were any users involved. So basically, it's not clear how the process of verification of this overwhelming experience was received. And then, yeah, basically, you had a good learning from this conversation about simplification. And you redesigned the dashboard. So basically, it's hard for me to see the difference. Like if you can like zoom in and show like this area of dashboard, like before, after the new introduction. So basically comparison for me to understand, because like when the images are so small and there is so much information presented as in dashboard, it's really hard to understand what did you improve and how it actually helps to navigate with this dashboard. So in general, dashboards are really hard case studies to support them visually, because to understand a dashboard, especially a complex one, you need to be in context what this dashboard is displaying. And so if you're not in the context and you don't want to dive in deeply into what's going on, it's really hard to understand for you what this particular dashboard was designed for and how it was improved. Also great idea on including your Figma files. This Figma file is not featuring any components or design system elements. So I'm wondering if when you designed this dashboard, the final dashboard, if you introduced any components to design system, if you created any design system or components for this dashboard. So I would say it's a missing opportunity to feature any components, because maintaining so many elements without components on dashboard would be a nightmare for any developer. And then we have final thoughts. So there is no kind of verification of your design, no user feedback, no support team feedback, no changes in impact. I don't know, anything that would communicate that the final dashboard you delivered was actually an improvement, because there is not enough proof for me right now to verify, yes, this dashboard was a good redesign. Yeah, and final thoughts. I really loved your final thoughts, that you're focusing on how you improved as a designer working on this project. So it's always nice to see like what you learned from every case study, because every case study in general is kind of a promise to another business. Look, what I did for X company, I can join your company and do the same and even better if you pay me. So case study is a form of promise that you are capable of doing the job, and it's promise around your story, about your unique approach, your unique way of thinking, your speed of working, and how you work on the design. Because they're hiring not case study or your past work, they're hiring you as a designer to deliver the same quality of work you are presenting on your website. But let's go back to homepage so I can give a quick summary. Overall, it's a good starting point as a case study and as a website. I think thinking more about your unique story and how you want to frame yourself, your personal brand, would be a good starting point to redesign your portfolio, because right now it's lacking this personal brand. It's lacking your authentic presence. Your uniqueness is missing from this portfolio. And also when it comes to your case studies, titles for clear scanning and simple scanning, and a bit more explanation of what's going on, what you did, what was before, how it's improving, and a verification or evaluation of your improvements, user feedback, any testing, any kind of like supporting feedback or company feedback saying like, yes, a new dashboard or the new brand performs way better. But overall, I think like you're in a good starting point. It just needs a bit more work to get the job you want. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, use the comment section. I hope Megan will ping me if there will be some questions, and I will help her answer them. And good luck, guys, with your portfolios. See you next time. Bye.